Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 23. Esha prapanna varado ramyatma shaktaya yadyat karishyati trihita gunavataraha tasmin swavikramamidam srijito api cheto Yunjita karma shamalam cha yatha vich ayaham.
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is always the benefactor of the surrendered souls. His activities are always enacted through his internal potency. Rama, or the goddess of fortune, I pray only to engage in his service in the creation of the material world, and I pray that I not be materially affected by any works, for thus I may be able to give up the false prestige of being the creator.
Text 24. Nabhi hridat iha sato ambhasi yasya punso vikyana shakti rahamasam nanta shakte rupam vichitramidmasya vivranvato me Maririshishta nigamasya giram visargaha.
The Lord's potencies are innumerable. As he lies down in the water of devastation, I am born as the total universal energy from the navel lake in which the lotus sprouts. I am now engaged in manifesting his diverse energies in the form of the cosmic manifestation. I therefore pray that in the course of my material activities, I may not be deviated from the vibration of the Vedic hymns.
Text 25. So asavad bhakkarno bhagavana vivriddha premasmiten nayanamabruham rijambhana utthaya vishvavijaya chano vishadam madhvaya girapanya tat purusha purana.
The Lord, who is supreme and is the oldest of all, is unlimitedly merciful. I wish that he may be smilingly bestow his benediction upon me by opening his lotus eyes. He can uplift the entire cosmic creation and remove our dejection by kindly speaking his directions.
626. Maitreya Vacha. Swasambhavam nishamyavam tapo vidya samadhibhi yavan manovacha stutva virarama sakhinvata.
The sage Maitreya said, O Vidura, after observing the source of his appearance, namely the personality of Godhead, Brahma prayed for his mercy as far as his mind and words would permit him. Thus, having prayed, he became silent, as if tired from his activities of penance, knowledge, and mental concentration.
Text 27, 28. Athabhipretamānvikṣya brahmano madhusūdana vishanchetasam tena kalpavyaktik rambhasa loka sanstana vijnana atmana parikhidyata tamaha gadhaya vacha Kashmalam Shamyaninava.
The Lord saw that Brahma was very anxious about the planning and construction of the different planetary systems and was depressed upon seeing the devastating water. He could understand the intention of Brahma, and thus he spoke in deep, thoughtful words, removing all the illusion that had arisen.
Text 29. Shri Bhagwan Vacha. Ma Veda Garbha Gastandrim Sarga Udyamamavaha Tanmaya Papaditam Hyagre Yanmam Prathayate Bhavan.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead then said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before.
Text 30. Bhuyasvam tapa atishtha vidyam chaiva madashriyam tabhyam antara hridhi brahman lokandriyakshasya pavritan.
O Brahma, situate yourself in penance and meditation and follow the principles of knowledge to receive my favor. By these actions, you'll be able to understand everything from within your heart.
Text 31. Tat atmani loke cha bhakti yukta samahita drashtasi mam tatam brahman mai lokam stvam atmanah.
O Brahma, when you are absorbed in devotional service in the course of your creative activities, you will see me in you and throughout the universe, and you will see that you yourself, the universe, and the living entities are all in me.
Text 32. Yada tu sarvabhuteshu darush agnimiva stitam pratichakshita loko jayat harya huva kashmalam.
You will see me in all living entities as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusion.
Text 33. Yada rahit matmanam bhutendriya gunashay swarupen mayopetam pashyan swarajyamichati.
When you are free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are free from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you'll be situated in pure consciousness.
Text 34. Nana karma vitanena praja bhavi se srikshata natmavasi ditya simste varshya and madnugraha.
Since you have desired to increase the population innumerably and expand your varieties of service, you shall never be deprived in this matter because my causeless mercy upon you will always increase for all time.
Text 35. Rishi madhyamna padnati papi yanstavam rajo gunah yanmayo mayi nirvadham प्रजा संसृज्यतो अपि ते.
You are the original Rishi, and because your mind is always fixed on me, even though you will be engaged in generating various progeny, the vicious mode of passion will never encroach upon you.
636. ज्ञातोऽहं भवता त्वद्य दुर्विज्ञोऽपि देहिनां यन्मां त्वं मन्यसे युक्तं भूतेन्द्रियगुणात्मभिः.
Although I'm not easily knowable by the conditioned soul, you have known me today because you know that my personality is not constituted of anything material, and specifically not of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements.
637. तुभ्यां मद विचिकित्स्यात्मा आत्मा मे दर्शितो बहिः नालेन सलिले मूलं पुष्करस्य विचिन्वतः.
When you are contemplating whether there was a source to the stem of the lotus of your birth, and you even entered into the stem, you could not trace out anything. But at that time, I manifested my form from within.
638. यच्च कर्थाङ्गमत्स्तोत्रम् मत्कथाभ्युदयाकितम् यद्वा तपसि ते निष्ठा स एषा मदनुग्रह.
O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted praising the glories of my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all this are to be considered my causeless mercy.
639. प्रीतोऽहम् अस्तु भद्रं ते लोकानामविजयेच्छया यदस्तौ शीर्गुणमायं निर्गुणम् अनुवर्ण्यनम्.
I am very much pleased by your description of me in terms of my transcendental qualities, which appear mundane to the mundaners. I grant you all the benedictions in your desire to glorify all the planets by your activities.
640. या एतन् पुमान् नित्यं स्तुत्वा स्तोत्रेण मां भजेत् तस्याशु सम्प्रसीदेयं सर्वकामावरेश्वर.
Any human being who prays like Brahma and who does worship me shall very soon be blessed with the fulfillment of all his desires, for I am the Lord of all benedictions.
641. पूर्तेन तपसा यज्ञे दाने योगा समाधिनः राधम्नि श्रेयसं पुंसां मत्प्रीतस्ततत् विनमतम्.
It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction.
642. अहमात्मात्मानां धाता प्रेष्ठा संप्रेयसामपि अतो मयि रतिं कुर्यात् देहार्देयर्थ कृते प्रिय.
I am the super soul of every individual. I am the supreme director and the dearest. People are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me only.
Text 43. Sarva Veda Mayened Matmanatmatmayonina Prajasrij Yatha Purvam Yascha Mayyanushirate.
By following my instructions, you can now generate the living entities as before, by dint of your complete Vedic wisdom and the body you have directly received from me, the supreme cause of everything.
Text 44. Maitreya Vacha. Tasma evam jagat shastre pradhana purusheshwarah vyajyedam svena rupena kanjana bhastirodadhe.
The sage Maitreya said, after instructing Brahma, the creator of the universe, to expand, the primeval Lord, the personality of Godhead, in his personal form as Narayana disappeared. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Deepak Prabhuji and Suparna Mataji. Very beautiful recitation, so pleasing. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, so today Sham Hari Prabhuji is not well, so I'm just going to engage the session for tonight. Okay, so we also pray for the Prabhuji so that he will recover soon. So with that note, so we shall start our Mangalachan prayers, and then we'll see offer our prayers to Gurus and Vaishnavas and Krishna. Okay.
अज्ञानातमरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं
स्थापितं येन भूतले
स्वरूपं
कः कदा मह्यं
कथयं
ददाति
तद्भक्ति
स्वपदं
स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं
श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे
कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु
दीनबन्धो
दीनबन्धु
जगत्पते
जगत्पते
गोपेश गोपिकान्त
गोपीकान्त राधा
राधाकान्त
नमस्ते
नमोस्तुते
तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी श्रीराधे
राधे
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
विश्वानुसुते देवी
देवी
प्रणमामि
प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
Okay.
वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा
कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च
सिन्धुभ्येव
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
जय श्री कृष्ण
नमो कृष्णपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय
नमो कृष्ण
भूतले
नमो
श्रीमते
विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रसाद भूतले श्रीमते
श्रीवेदान्त
भक्तिवेदांत
स्वामिने
स्वामिनेति नाम्ने नमस्ते
नमो
सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी परिचारिणे
भूतले श्री
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशातारिणे
नमस्ते
जय जय
सारस्वते
प्रभुपाद
चारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरवृंद
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे हरे
हरे
राम
राम राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृणुतां स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्त्वह्य भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृसतां नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी एते चां सकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयं इन्द्रादिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकधन्यं स्वस्तये नमः कृष्णे स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह कलो न सदृशामेष पुराणार्कोऽधिनोदितः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्तिस्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिमं चिन्तिदृढं पाण्डुषुरिष्णुषु त्वयि मेनन्यविषया मतिर्मदपते सकृत् रतिमुद्वह तदद्ध गङ्गिवगुमुदन्वति श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सख विष्णुर्षभावनिधृग्राजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्गवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजसुरार्थिहरावतार योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गसङ्गस्य मच्चेनं किं मुताशशः पुनश्च भूयात् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गश तदाश्रयेषु महस्तु यां यामुपयां सृष्टिं मैत्रस्य सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः वन्दे गुरुनीश भक्तानीशम् ईशावतारकां तत्प्रकाशां च तच्चक्तिः कृष्णचैतन्यसंज्ञकम् नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे बालोऽपि यदनुग्रहात् तरेणानमतग्राह व्याप्तं सिद्धान्तसागरम् श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे यत्पादा श्रीवीर्यतः सङ्गृणात्याकरव्रातात् अज्ञासिद्धान्तसन्मनीम् ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for kindly waiting. Okay, I shall share my screen. And thank you so much for giving this opportunity to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so Srimad Bhagavatam. We have been discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 9, and it is the Lord Brahma's prayers for his creative energy. So in the last session, so Brahma has completed his prayers. So there were 25 shlokas. They're very beautiful shlokas. And then later on, after Brahma prayed, so here Maitreya Rishi said that Brahma has seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then when he was glorifying the Lord, and then Lord understood that Brahma is now disturbed, and then he started speaking to Brahma. So saying that Ma Veda Garbha Gatrandrim Sarga Udhyamam Avaha Tvanmaya Paditam Hegre Yanmam Pradhete Bhavan. O Brahma, so whatever the austerities and penances you have done, and for whatever the purpose you wanted to create this universe, I have already arranged before that itself. So Lord is saying to Brahma, and now what you need to do, you just simply engage yourself in the this Vidhyam Chaiva Madashriyam. So in the Vidhyam, with the complete knowledge of myself, भूयस्त्वं तपातिष्ठ विद्यां चैव मदाश्रयं ताभ्यं अंतर्हृदि ब्रह्मन्. Lokan drakshasi apavrutan. When you engage yourself in the devotional service, taking completely madhashrayam, only me, then tabhyam antarhrudi brahman. So everything will be revealed in your heart. Antarhrudi, in the heart, everything will be revealed in the heart. Then what happens? Lokan drakshasi apavrutan. You would see all planetary systems entirely complete transparently. So likewise, Lord says to Brahma, and then he says that Tata Atmani Loke cha bhaktiktah samahitah. And then Drashtasimam Tatam Brahman Mai Lokan Tvamatmanaha. It is a very beautiful shloka. Also, he has mentioned that when you engage yourself bhaktiktah samahitah, in the engaging yourself in the devotional service, then Drashtasimam Tatam Brahman, you would see me everywhere, and lokan tvamatmanaha, and all the planetary systems in me. So it is kind of circle. So likewise, the Lord says in the 31 shloka. And then 32 shloka, he mentions how the Lord exists in this universe, giving an analogy, saying that Yadatu sarvabhuteshu darushu agnimarsitam. Darushu agnimarsitam. That is, all the living entities, they exist just like a fire within the wood. In the similar way, all the living entities in this material world, Yadatu sarvabhuteshu, all the living entities which are all having these material bodies, they are also covered by this Mahatattva, all these elements. And then Pratichakshitamam loko jahyattari kashmalam. So likewise, Lord is saying to Brahma in the 32 shloka. When when you situate yourself in that state, then you will be free from that all kinds of jahyattari kashmalam, from all the impurities or the illusion. So after saying that, now the Lord is saying further from the 33 shloka onwards that we are going to discuss now. So here the Lord says that, O Brahma, as soon as now you are in the mode of passion, so you want to create this universe, create in the universe, in the sense, create the material bodies for all the living entities according to the nature or consciousness of the living entities. Swabhava gunamarghena, swabhava, nature of the living entities. So once that the mode of passion is also completely cleared out, once you are exhausted with all your creation and everything else in your activities, free from mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, then everything, what happens? Then Swarupena Mayo, you will situate yourself in your original form, original spiritual form. Likewise, the Lord is saying. So 33 shloka. यदा रहितमात्मानं भूतेन्द्रियगुणाशयैः स्वरूपेण मयोपेतं पश्यन् स्वराज्यमृच्छति. यदा रहितमात्मानं, when freed from Atmanam, the self, bhota indriya gunasaihi, bhota, all the material elements, and indriya, material senses, gunasaihi, so under the influence of the material modes of nature. So what happens once you are completely free from the bhota indriya guna asayehi, no more material qualities? What happens? Swarupena mayopetam, in the pure existence, completely pure existence. Maya upetam. So you would approach me, upetam, and then you approach me, you come to my abode. Pasyan swarajyamruchyati, then you will enjoy in the spiritual kingdom. Swarajyamruchyati. So likewise, the Lord is saying to Brahma. So, yada rahitam atmanam bhutendri gunasayaihi Swarupena mayopetam pasyan swarajyam ruchyati. So translation for this verse. When you are free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are free from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you will be situated in pure consciousness. So this is pure consciousness is called Vasudeva Sthiti. Yattat Sattvam, Shantatvam, this is completely Shantatvam. This is called Vasudeva. Yadakyam, it is called Vasudeva Sthiti, Vasudevakyam. Okay, so purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that a person whose only desire is to render transcendental loving service to the Lord is a free person in any condition of material existence. That service attitude is the Swarupa or real form of the living entity. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also confirms this statement by declaring that the real spiritual form of the living entity is eternal servitorship to the Supreme Lord. So the Mayavada school shudders at the thought of a service attitude in the living entity, not knowing that in the transcendental world, the service of the Lord is based on transcendental love. Transcendental loving service is never to be compared to the forced service of the material world. In the material world, even if one is under the conception that he is no one's servant, he is still the servant of his senses, under the dictation of the material modes. Factually, no one is master here in the material world, and therefore the servants of the senses have a very bad experience of servitude. They shudder at the thought of service because they have no knowledge of the transcendental position. In transcendental loving service, the servitor is as free as the Lord. The Lord is Swarat, or fully independent, and the servant is also fully independent, or Swarat, in the spiritual atmosphere, because there is no forced service. There, the transcendental loving service is due to spontaneous love. A reflected glimpse of such service is experienced in the service of the mother unto the son, the friend's service unto the friend, or the wife's service unto the husband. These reflections of service by friends, parents, or wives are not forced, but are due only to love. Here in this material world, however, the loving service is only a reflection. The real service or service in Swarupa is present in the transcendental world, in association with the Lord. The very same service in transcendental love can be practiced in devotion here. It's a very beautiful statement. So this verse is also applicable to the Jnani school. The enlightened Jnani, when free from all material contaminations, namely the gross and subtle bodies, together with the senses of the material modes of nature, is placed in the supreme and is thus liberated from material bondage. The Jnanis and the devotees are actually in agreement up to the point of liberation from material contamination. But whereas the Jnanis remain pacified on the platform of simple understanding, the devotees develop further spiritual advancement in loving service. The devotees develop a spiritual individuality in their spontaneous service attitude, which is enhanced on and on up to the point of Madhurya Rasa or transcendental loving service reciprocated between the lover and the beloved. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that a person whose only desire is to render transcendental loving service to the Lord is a free person in any condition of material existence. This is the natural. So once we go to the spiritual world, what is our duty? Ye animitta nimittena, everyone engage in the service of the Lord. Vasantyatra purushaha sarve vaikuntamurtayaha. Ye animitta nimittena, what is that shloka? They're always engaging in the, without time, place, and circumstance, always engaging in the devotional service. That is the constitutional position of the living entity in the spiritual world. So that's why here we have got an opportunity to practice here. So like the न करिचित मत्पराः शान्तरूपे नक्षन्ति रोमि अनिमिषो लेडिहेतिः येषामहम् Atma, Suta Atma Priya Sutascha, Saka Guruhu Suhrudo Dhaivamishtam. Kapil Bhagavan says that, my dear mother, न करचित मत्पराः शान्तरूपे न क्षन्ति नोमि animisho lady hetihi. Once a devotee establishes the relationship in a particular service attitude, he would not lose. Like Esha Maham Priya Atma Sutasya. Like a son, a guru or lover. Likewise, Saka Guruhu Suhrudo Daivamishtam. Suhrudo, a well-wisher, likewise in a different mellows. Then this is Nakshante Nomi. It will never be deteriorated later on. This is the mode of a devotional service. That service attitude is the Swarupa or real form of the living entity. So Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also confirms this statement by declaring the real spiritual form of the living entity. Living entity is eternal servitorship to the Supreme Lord. It is ye animitta nimittena daivena aradhayan harim. This is just got remembering this. Ye animitta nimittena daivena aradhayan harim. All the time. Aradhayan harim. That is the spiritual, the propensity of the living entities. The Mayavad school, so here in the Mayavad school, getting up to the knowledge, that is what is the ultimate thing from therein. But there is no action in it. But here when it comes to the devotees, there is a service involved in it. That is the higher status of it than the knowledge. The loving devotional service means it contains the activities and the knowledge and also dhyana. That dhyana again, meditating on the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vaikuntalila abhidhyanam samadhanam tadatmanaha. That is called samadhi. Vaikuntalila abhidhyanam. So here, at the thought of service attitude in the living entity, not knowing that in the transcendental world, the service of the Lord is based on the transcendental love. Service of this is the Yenamitta Nimittena Dharmena Aradayan Harim. It is the dharma of the living entity to serve the Lord. And transcendental loving service is never to be compared to the forced service of the material world. In the material world, everyone are engaged. White children are sending to the school, they'll be forced to work in the offices or wherever go. Ahnyapta ardhakarana nisi nisyayana nana manorada dhyakhana bhagna nidraha. They don't even get in the nighttime sleep. Sometimes in such a way they work. Daive Daivardhata Rachana Rushopi Deva Vishnu Vimuka Iha Samsaranti. If one is not attracted to hear Krishna Katha, they will be engaged in the materialistic activities. Become a manager, you become a professor, whatever it is. So many designations are there. They will be like that. Ahni apta ardha karana nisinisayana nana manorada dhya kshanabhagna nidraha. They don't even get sleep. In such a way, they will be always engaged, earning money, saving money, how to protect money, how to protect the house and family, how to feed the family. These are nana manorada dhya kshanabhagna nidraha. They don't get sleep until they do it. But whereas this is Daiva Hatat Rachana Rushopi Deva, even though sages also, Rushopi Deva, Yushmat Pratanga Vimuka Iha Samsaranti, if they do not hear, if they are not attracted to hear Krishna Katha. See, that is a very beautiful thing. So in the material world, even if one is under the conception that he is no one's servant, he is still the servant of his senses. So some people think that I wanted to be alone, going somewhere, but personally, but they will get bored because the senses, they do not allow him to be quiet. They will always agitate. Eyes wanted to see something, tongue wanted to eat something, taste something, and the ears wanted to hear some nice music, or they do not, because rasavad vishya vinivattante niraharasya dehinaha rasavajjam rasopyasya Parandruštva nivattate. Whatever the taste he has accumulated, that taste is still there with the mind. It always changes him through the senses. I wanted to see this. I want to touch this. Likewise, he is a servant of his senses. So under the dictation of the material modes, this is under dictation of goodness, passion, and ignorance. When we engage all the senses, sevonmukhi jihvadu swaimiva spurityadaha. This is again अतः श्रीकृष्णामादि न भवेद्ग्राह्यमिन्द्रियैः सेवोन्मुखे जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुर्त्यतः. When we engage all our senses in the devotional service to Krishna, then Lord reveals himself to us. So that is again further level. We are getting, and also on top of that, Mam chayo abhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Sagunan samutye chaityan brahma bhoyaya kalpate. Through the devotional service, he will cross three material modes of nature. Mam chayo, this is the Abhibicharena, Mamchavyo Abhibicharena. Vyabhichara means worshipping different demigod, that demigod, this demigod. If I go there, all my problems will be solved. If I go here, I will get money. It is called Vibhichara Bhakti. But here, Krishna worshipping Krishna is the Abhibichara. Mamchavyo Abhichara. That is Krishna says. Then he would cross these three material modes of nature. Then what happens? Then he will not be servant of his senses. And factually, no one is master here in the material world, and therefore, the servants of the senses have a very bad experience of servitude. So we see here practically in this material world. And they shudder out of service because they have no knowledge of the transcendental position. So because of this reason, some jnanis, they wanted to completely renounce from the work. That is their up to their limitation. That he just wanted to be just Brahmabhutaha Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. Only that point. But further is that it is the samam sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. That is further advanced. Mad bhaktim labhate param. So in the transcendental loving service, the servitor is as free as the Lord. Yes, yata buddhihi tada shriya. Because the Lord is free, a servant is free. So that is the transcendental world and the transcendental loving service. So the Lord is Swarat or fully independent, and the servant is also fully independent or Swarat. That does not mean that he would act independently far away from the Lord and try to lord it over material nature. That is again against Krishna consciousness. A Krishna consciousness means always under the shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. That is fully independent. In the spiritual atmosphere, because there is no forced service, there the transcendental loving service is due to spontaneous love. In the spiritual world, yat sankulam haripada anati mata drushtaihi vaidurya marakata hemamaihi vimanayaihi yesham bhurat kaditataha smitasho bhimukhyah krishnatmanam naraja adituhu usmayadhyaihi. In the spiritual world, so many beautiful palaces, airplanes, Vimanayehi, Vaidurya, Marakata, Hevamayehi, Vimanayehi. Such a beautiful airplanes, and all the people there, along with their concerts, they are going, wandering through the spiritual worlds. But even the women are very beautiful, but the devotees, Krishna Atmanam, Naraja Aduduhu, Usmayadyehi. They are not attracted for any women there because of Krishna Atmanam, completely devoted and always singing. That comes as spontaneous there. Vaimanikaha salalana charitani shashvat gayanti yatra samalakshyapanani bhattuhu antarjale viksat madhumadhavinam gandhena kandita dhyopi anilam kshipantaha. When they're singing about the glories of the Lord, even along with their concerts, going in the airplanes, and even though airplanes also made like they have got good ponds and so many madhavi flowers or mallika flowers, the fragrance coming from there, if it coming to the nose of the devotees while singing, even they condemn it. That is called a loving devotional service because they're absorbed. Gandhena kandya diyopi anilam shipantaha. So that is the beauty of it. So here our devotees are always coming together and hearing Bhagavatam without cessation. Every day comes. That is called attraction. That is in the spiritual world that continues. And a reflected glimpse of such service is experienced in the service of the mother unto the son, and the friend service unto the friend, or the wife service unto the husband. These relations that we can see practically here. And these reflections of service by friends, parents, or wives are not forced, but are due only to love. Only to love. But in here in this material world, however, the loving service is only a reflection. This is a reflection. But original thing, it is Urdhamolam Adeshakam Ashwadham Prahuravyayam Chandams Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedhavet. It is the material world, this is material, it is the perverted reflection of the spiritual world. But because we have been Jiva Bhota Mahabahu Edam Dharite Jagat, we are having material bodies, we have to struggle a little bit. We have to struggle a little bit while trying to serve one body to other body like that. But in the spiritual world, this is the natural. Everyone are of the spiritual nature. They don't feel these pains there. Okay, so that is because Kaivalyameva Murtiman. Everyone are in a personification of the some kind of form. So everyone render their service to the Supreme Lord. Okay, the real service or service in Swarupa is present in the transcendent world in association with the Lord. The very same service in transcendent love can be practiced in devotion here in this material world. Here we practice and it will continue in the transcendent world, spiritual world. That's why a devotee always wanted to serve here as a servant. मज्जन्म फलमिदं मधुगैटभारे मत्प्रार्थनीय मदनुग्रह एष एव तद्भृत्य भृत्य परिचारक भृत्य भृत्य भृत्यस इति मां स्मरलोकनाद. Kulashekara Alvar prays that I wanted to be servant of servant here, practice here, and then go to the spiritual world. Then it continues in the spiritual world. Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan. And then here further Prabhupada describes about this verse is also applicable to the Jnani school. The enlightened Jnani, when free from all material contaminations, namely gross and subtle bodies together with the senses of material bodies of modes of nature, is placed in the Supreme and is thus liberated from the material bondage. Then what happens? Gross body and subtle body. It is completely digested. Now he is in the liberated state. Now the jnanis and devotees are actually in the agreement up to the point of liberation. This is Brahma Bodha Prasannatma from material contamination. But whereas the jnanis remain pacified on the platform of simple understanding, na sochati na kankshati. But devotees develop further. That is Mad Bhaktin Labhate Param, they develop more and more. That is further spiritual advancement in loving service. They engage. But Jnanis, they are simply afraid that there is going to be again service, something like that. They will stop there. Just like a Santa. And the devotees develop a spiritual individuality in their spontaneous service attitude. Yesham aham atma priya sutasya Saka Guruhu Suhrudo Daivamishtam in a different, this is the individual relationships with the Lord, that is spontaneous service, which is enhanced on and on up to the point of Madhurya Rasa. It is our transcendent loving service reciprocated between the lover and beloved. This is what Prabhupada was previously mentioning. One wanted to be like one of the gopis so that he can participate in the Rasa Leela dance. That is highest perfection of the life. So this is Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabihi Tabhireva Nijurupa Tayakalabihi Goloka Eva Nivasati Akilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. So our living entity is also given a chance that you can become one of the gopis there. Tabihi eva nijurupa taya kalabihi. In the Goloka Vrindavana, we also one of the tabihi. Then Lord will in Nijarupaya Kalatva, in the Nijarupa, in his own form, so he will have association with us and we can dance with the Lord. So that is Tabhiri eva nijurupa taya kalabihi in different melodies. That is what Prabhupada has mentioned in the previous shlokas in the Brahma's prayers. Okay, so we shall move on to the next shloka, that is from here. So here, Yada Rahitam Atmanam Bhutendri Gunasyahi Swarupena Mayopetam Pasyan Swarajyam Ruchyati. As soon as once he is completely absorbed and free from material modes of nature, whenever he leaves this material world, he enters into the spiritual world in his own spiritual form. That is, Lord is saying to Brahma. And in the next shloka, when Lord is assuring Brahma that, oh Brahma, when you are engaged in different kinds of creating the different bodies for the living entities, then what happens? Nana karma. Okay, we shall recite the shloka first. Nana karma vitanena prajabhvihi sisrukshataha natma vasidati asmimste varshiyan madanugrahaha. Nana karma vitanena prajabhvihi sisrukshataha. So, nana karma, varieties of service by expansions of vitanena, and prajabhvihi sisrukshataha, and you are trying to expand the so many living entities, populate this entire world, all the 14 planet systems with the different living entities. Prajaha bahvihi innumerable, sisrukshataha desiring to increase. Natmavasidati asmimste, so you never be, you never will be bereaved. Avasidati asmimste, in the matter of creation, you will never be tired, you will never be exhausted while creating this. Varshiyan madanugraha, always increasing by my causeless mercy. So here Lord is saying madanugraha. By my mercy, you will be able to execute your activities, creation of the material bodies for the living entities. Nana karma vitanena prajabhvihi sisrukshataha natmavasiti asmimste varshiyan madanugraha. The translation for this verse. Since you have desired to increase the population innumerably and expand your varieties of service, you shall never be deprived in this matter, because my causeless mercy upon you will always increase for all time. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A pure devotee of the Lord, being cognizant of the facts of the particular time, object, and circumstances, all desires to expand the number of devotees of the Lord in various ways. Such expansions of transcendental service may appear to be material to the materialist, but factually they are expansions of the causeless mercy of the Lord towards the devotee. Plans for such activities may appear to be material activities, but they are different in potency, being engaged in the satisfaction of the transcendental senses of the Supreme. So here, a devotee, he engages in the service of the Lord. It appears for everyone that he is like working like ordinary people only. So this is again based on circumstances. The devotee chooses what to do and what not to do, and for what purpose. So here, always desires to expand the number of devotees of the Lord in various ways. This is he wanted to do it. This is the desire of a pure devotee, because this is the desire of the Lord is as it is. He wanted all the living entities, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chatushkrutam dharma samsthapanardhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Bhavayatyasa satvena lokanvai lokabhavanaha. Bhavayatyasa satvena, the devotees. That's why Leelavatanato Tiryagjana, and Lord appears in the material world, in the Tiryagjana and the Devatiryak Naradaya, in the human society, demigod society, or animal society, to attract these souls. So that is, he knows, pure devotee knows the desire of the Lord. So he wanted to expand the number of devotees of the Lord in various ways. Such expansions of transcendental service may appear to be material to the materialistic, but actually they are expansions of the causeless mercy of the Lord. This is Jnanam Paramaguhyami Yed Vijnana Samanvitam Sarahasim Tadangam Cha Gruhana Gahitam Maya Yavanaham Yatabhav Yedrupa Gunakarmakaha Tataiva Tatva Vijnanam Astute Mad Anugrahat Astute Mad Anugrahat. So here Lord he gives assurance to Brahma in the second canto. He says this one: Yavanaham yatabhavo yadrupa gunakarmakaha. Tataiva tattva vijnanam astute madanugrahat. Everything will come to you by my mercy, my causeless mercy. Likewise, he gives assurance to the Brahma. So, likewise, Brahma is a devotee here. Likewise, a devotee who has surrendered to Krishna and Guru to carry out the desire of Krishna and Guru, then there is a causeless mercy of the Lord towards the devotee. So plans for such activities may appear to be material activities, but they are different in potency. So devotees, they only understand that everything is being orchestrated by the Lord. So being engaged in the satisfaction of the transcendental senses of the Supreme. So this is the devotee experience. This is the whenever we give something to the Lord will be very pleased. Lord doesn't need anything. Tatropanitayo bhalayo rave deepam ivadhrutaha. Ravehe deepam ivadhrutaha. Atmaramam purnakamam nijhalabhed nityada. If we give something, it is just like offering a lamp to the sun. Sun doesn't need any light. But if you are offering lamp, likewise, if we give small gifts to the Lord, it is only for our benefit. Lord doesn't need anything. And he will be very satisfied. And also, because Lord is happy with the devotee automatically be satisfied as well. Okay, so this is about the satisfaction of the transcendental senses of the Supreme. Okay, we shall move on. That is the Nana Karma Vidanena Praja Bhakvihi Sitrukshitaha Natmavasidati Asminte Varsyan Madanugraha. By causeless mercy of the Lord, Brahma is able to carry out his activities without any hindrance. Okay, we shall move on. Next shloka. The Lord is previously Brahma was saying that, my dear Lord, when I engage in the activities at that time, I may get some kind of pride, something like that. So please show your mercy unto me so that I don't get any pride in my activities. So for that one, Brahma's request, Lord is saying here, addressing, oh Brahma, so when you are when you are creating this universe, giving the bodies, material bodies to the 8.4 million species, then by my mercy, you will not be entangled with this, though you are working here. Likewise, a pure devotee, he is also engaging in that spreading Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna's mercy, he will not be entangled with the materialistic people, though he is engaging in the service. He wanted to give the knowledge to the devotees. Likewise, here Lord is assuring to Brahma. ऋषिमाद्यं न बध्नाति पापयां त्वं रजोगुणः यन्मनोमयि निर्बद्धं प्रजाः सृजितोऽपि ते संसृजितोऽपि ते. So here he is saying ऋषिमाद्यं न बध्नाति. Rishim, so Rishim onto the great sage, Adhyam, the first of the kind, na badhnati, he never encroaches, na badhnati, papiyan, the vicious, tvam rajogunaham. So tvam you rajogunah, the material mode of passion. Janmanomayi nirbadham, and because the mind in me, because you have engaged your mind in me, this is tad buddhayaha, tadatmanaha, tannistaha, tatparayanaha, gachanti, apunaravrittim, jnani nirdhuta kalmashaha. Krishna says to Arjuna. So here, my nirbhaddam, yen mano nirbhaddam, because when you engage your mind completely in me, prajaha samsujitopite, and by you are engaging in this activity. So this is prajaha, is the progeny, and samsujataha is the generating. Even though you are generating the living entities, because you are engaging in my service, this mode of passion does not entangle you. So translation, you are the original Rishi, and because your mind is always fixed on me, even though you will be engaged in generating various progeny, the vicious mode of passion will never encroach upon you. This is Lord's assurance to Brahma. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The same assurance is given to Brahma in the second canto, chapter 9, verse number 36. Being so favored by the Lord, Brahma's schemes and plans are all infallible. This is Etan Matam Samatista Paramena Samadhina. Bhavan kalpa vikalpeshu na vimuhiti kare chet. When you remember this Chatushloki Bhagavata, aham eva sameva gre nan yat yat sad asat param pashyadaham videtaccha. So avashisheta sosmiham rudyardham yati pretiyeta na pretiyeta chatmani tad vijhadahmano mayam yata bhasu yata tamaha. यथा महान्ति भूतानि भूतेषु उच्चावचेष्वनु प्रविष्टानि अप्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु नत्वेष्वहम् एतवध्यव जिज्ञासुं तत्विज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वय व्यतिरेकाभ्यं यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा. He says the four Chatushloki, and then after saying that etanmatam samatishta paramena samadhina, you remember these four shlokas of Brahma, everything. Then bhavan kalpa vikalpeshu na vimuheti, you will not be bewildered. So that is here Lord's assurance. That is, plans are all infallible. Being so favored by the Lord, Brahma's schemes and plans are all infallible. If sometimes Brahma is seen to be bewildered, as in the 10th canto, he is bewildered by seeing the action of the internal potency. That is also for his further advancement in transcendental service. As soon as he says Krishna, then at that time he was praying that, is he my father Narayana? Narayanastum nahi sarvadehinam atmasyadisha akilaloka sakshi Narayanongam narbhojalayanam tachapi satyam natavaiva maya. Is he not my father Narayana? Then who is he? Then Brahma, likewise, Brahma was also bewildered when he's speaking to Krishna. So Arjuna is found to be similarly bewildered, and all such bewilderment of the pure devotees of the Lord is specifically meant for their further advancement in knowledge of the Lord. This is Jnanam Paramaguhyame Yed Vijnana Samanvitam Sa Rahasyam Tadangam Cha Tadangam. Tadangam means different parts of the knowledge. This is Gruhanu Gaditam Maya. Brahma I am giving, you take that one. Everything will be revealed unto you. So once the devotee receives all the knowledge, he feels so much of ecstasy and happiness. Whatever he sees, whatever he does. So Lord is giving assurance that mode of passion does not entangle you, though he is engaged in the activity, as because he yan manomiyi nirbhaddham manomiyi, because his mind is fixed in the Lord. Tad buddhayaha tadatmanaha tannishtaha tatparayanaha gachanti punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha, because completely freed from the material entanglement. Likewise, the Lord is assuring to Brahma for the Brahma's request. Next, what is the next shloka here? Lord is saying that for it is very difficult to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, especially for the materially embodied people, living entities. So today, Brahma has seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he also understood that Lord is not made by the material ingredients or the ingredients of the Mahatattva, because that is the Brahma's knowledge, understanding. So initially the first prayer of the Jnatosi me Jashuran Anudehavajam na Jnato Bhagavato Gatirijhavajam Nanyatvadasti Bhagavanapi Tanna Shuddham Maya Guna Vitikarad Yad Urur Vibhasi. That is the Brahma's first prayer, first shloka. For that shloka here, Lord is saying to Brahma, reciprocating that. Jnatoham bhavata tvadhya durvignopi dehinam yenmam tvam manyase ayuktam bhutendriya gunatmabihi jnatoham bhavata tvadhya. So Brahma, jnatoham, you have known me, bhavata tvadhya, so today. And durvignopi dehinam, though it is very difficult for the dehinam, the materially embodied people, living entities, for the conditioned soul. Yanmam tvam manyase ayuktam. Yanmam, so because me, tvam, you manyase ayuktam, manyase, understand, ayuktam, without being made of bhutendri gunatma bihi. Bhota is the material elements, indriya, material senses, guna, material modes, atma bihi, and false ego like the conditioned souls. So because Brahma understood that Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, his body is not made up of the earth, water, fire, ether, or space, wind, or mind, intelligence, or ego. These are all Bhinna Prakriti. But the Lord is of the spirit nature. That ingredients is not in this not of this material world. It belongs to the spiritual world. That Brahma came to know. ज्ञातोऽहं भवतात्वज्ञदुर्विज्ञोऽपि देहिनां यन्मां त्वं मन्यसे अयुक्तं भूतेन्द्रिय गुणात्मभिः. It's a translation for this verse. Although I am not easily knowable by the conditioned soul, you have known me today because you know that my personality is not constituted of anything material, and specifically not of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements. And purported by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Knowledge of the Supreme Absolute Truth does not necessitate negation of the material manifestation, but understanding of spiritual existence as it is. To think that because material existence is realized in the forms, therefore spiritual existence must be formless, is only a negative material conception of spirit. The real spiritual conception is that spiritual form is not material form. Brahma appreciated the eternal form of the Lord in that way, and the personality of Godhead approved of Brahma's spiritual conception. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna condemned the material conception of his body, a conception that arises because he is apparently present like a man. The Lord may appear in any of his many spiritual forms, but he is not materially composed, nor has he any difference between body and self. That is the way of conceiving the spiritual form of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here, what is the spiritual form? Generally, we may be thinking that if I leave this body, how it is going to be? It is going tiny, minute particle. This is again Kesha Agrasata Bhagasya. So likewise, 1/10,000 part of tip of hair. That is given in the mentioned in the Upanishads. So that has got a form. Is that minute form? So for example, Prabhupada was previously mentioning that because I am like a man and I have got a man body, I have to wear the dresses accordingly, inner clothes, on top of that the outer clothing. In the similar way, when the consciousness of the spiritual soul is in the kind of a human consciousness, then he will get the according to subtle body, accordingly the gross body. But actually, he is a spiritual body. His consciousness is like in that form. Because of that, that spiritual is wearing subtle body and material body. And here it is giving Prabhupada is technically is also explaining here. This is spiritual existence must be formless is only a negative material conception of the spirit. But here, otherwise, how could any people see Krishna? So Krishna says, Sambhavami Atmamaya. I appear in my own internal potency, Atmamaya. So here, whenever Dhruva Maharaj sees, after his meditation, he sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna is practically seeing in front of him, and the Lord is speaking Bhagavad Gita, and everyone are seeing all the devotees like the Sanjaya, and Sanjaya is explaining there, and Vyasadeva is seeing, Arjuna is seeing practically, and his universal form. So this is the form, otherwise how can they see it? But here, by the mercy of the Lord, here Arjuna has received Divya Chakshuhu, divine eyes. That's why he was able to see it. But how do we get the divine eyes? We need to approach Guru, the spiritual master. Approach the Shastras, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and study under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master. Then this will be understood easily. What is the spirit soul and what is Atma, what is Paramatma, what is Ishvara, what is Parameshvara. Likewise. So here the spiritual concept, this is again Kaivalyamiva Muttimat, Yatra Naishresham Nama, Vanam Kama Dugaihi Drumaihi, Sarvattu Sribihi Vibhrajat, Kaivalyamiva Muttiman. In the spirituals, Kaivalyamiva Muttimat. Otherwise, how they would have women or men and aeroplanes and beautiful palaces and Lord Lakshmi Devi and even the beasts and birds. पार्वतान्यन्यवृतसारसचक्रवाका दाच्यूतहं सुखतित्तिरि बर्हिणां यहं कोलाहलो विरमति अचिरमात्रमुच्चैः भृङ्गादिपे हरिकथामिव गायमाने. The birds and all these different kinds of birds. Parvatani Anyabruta Sarsa Chakravaka Dhatyota Hamsa Sukha Titiri Barihi. So all are they are making different kinds of kola halo viramate. They are making so much of birds nest chirping there, and they stop the kola halo for a moment to hear the Bhrungadipe Harikata Miva Gayamani. When the Bhrunga is speaking Harikata, then the birds wanted to hear the Harikatha. They stop all of their noise. That is, how come all these personalities there, bird personalities, Bhrunga, and even the flowers, Mandara Kunda Kurvotpala Champakana, Punnagana Gavakulambuja Parijataham, Gande Chite Tulasika Bharanen Tasya, Yestim Tapaha Sumanaso Bohumanayanti, different kinds of flowers, very beautifully, and also they all respect Tulsi Devi because of her austerities and penances, and she took the special place at lotus feet of Krishna. Yestim Tapaha Sumanaso Bohumanayanti, they all respect all the beautiful flowers. And that is the spiritual word. That's why Krishna Prasadamukam Spruhaniya Dhama Snehavaloka Kalaya Hridi Samsprushantam Syame Prutavarsi Sobitaya Sriyasvaha Chodamanim Subhagayantam Yivatma Dishnyam. It is always so beautiful. Everyone Hridi Samsprushantam, everyone desire to go there and see there and experience that happiness. So these are Brahma statements to all the demigods. Krishna Prasada Sumukam Spruhaniya Dhama, everyone's desire, which is so attractive to everyone. So likewise, how come all these different variegatedness exist? Because of there is a form, different rasas. So here, this is Prabhupada is explaining here. So that in order to awake that spiritual form, while we are in the human body, we practice that one, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and then following the regulative principles gradually, that's Vidhi Bhakti, and gradually going on to the Raganuga Bhakti, absorb completely in the spiritual form. There is no more material forms. So then, even though whatever we do, it is under the Dehena Dehopi Daivashagaha Kalu Karma Yavat Swarhambakam Prati Samikshata Eva Sasuhu. Everything under the supervision of Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. The body acts under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dehe, this is the Dehopi Daivashagaha Kalu Karma Yavat. All the senses are also under the control of the Supreme Lord. Kalu Karma Yavat. And those activities that were previously started as well. So now I am in the devotional service. Previously I was not in. Whatever was not in devotional service, those activities are also come under the account of the Lord. Kalu karma yavat swarhambakam pratsamikshata eva sasuhu. So this is all the script Bhagavatam statements. Okay, likewise Prabhupada is explaining. I stop here. So this is up to 30. 36, 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay, so I stop here. I request dear devotees, if you have got any questions, kindly ask. If you wanted to share anything, kindly share. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for your enlightening class, as always, and also for the beautiful prayers that you recite. They're so beautiful and sweet. And I'd like to thank you also for facilitating our class today. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very kind of you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Or any sharings? Okay, if there are no further sharings, then we shall conclude our session. for tonight. Okay, thank you so much.
Kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful class,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.